I knew you were gonna bring this up. The our Manny, our 10-year-old follower, his dad is one of our program participants, and Manny likes to send in questions, and he said, why are we dealing with this? What's the cause?" And Manny, first thing, the scoop is people can write their PhD dissertations on why this inflation bubble happened, right? So it's a very complicated subject, but in like a 30-second answer, which I don't know if I've ever given a 30-second answer. Um, we had this pandemic can't come and the world economy stopped. People stopped working, people stopped making things, people stopped buying things. Then all of a sudden, limitations were removed one by one. People were at home and they were able to use the internet to start buying things, but things weren't being made. Then, when things finally were being made, they all got shipped at once. And so then there became a supply backup. Like you just couldn't get things to people fast enough. There wasn't enough shippers. Things got backed up at like the place where the stuff comes from overseas into the ports and then gets distributed. Things couldn't get shipped enough. So then stores started to make pre-orders for stuff that they wanted to buy and make sure that they had the orders for. And then all of a sudden, people were allowed to go outside. So they stopped buying stuff. And so now all this stuff has been delivered to those retailers, and those retailers have a lot of stuff inventory and they can't get rid of it because now people like me and Sip are hanging out in person and we're going on trips and we're spending our money on experiences instead of stuff. So now the retailers are in trouble because they sunk all this money in inventory. And then add to that this thing that's happening in the Ukraine where, there's fights and there's government sanctions against fuel. So the price of gasoline's been going up, but then there's all this meddling. In other words, the normal, everyday things that happen naturally have been interrupted. And then there's these bubbles that form, and then they have to get pushed through the system, and things are just not steady, right? There's been just a bunch of disruptions, and that's caused a huge amount of inflation. And in order to make sure things didn't implode, be in trouble because of all of these world economies stopping, you know, governments came in and printed money, made sure people had enough money to live. And now that all that money's out there, the governments are starting to bring it back out. In other words, there's just nothing being normal, and it's causing um, first inflation. We may see recession and deflation due to some of the meddling. We just want calm, right? We just want calm, and then things can start going back to normal. So that's kind of why inflation's happening. But the actual specifics, I mean, that could be like a college term paper.